Okay guys, before anyone makes any snarky remarks about me reviewing an older game, please bear in mind is that some of us do not have a lot of time to play all of these games, and we may want to look back and see the impact that this game had on the industry at the time. You know, to give our opinion of the game and what it has done for the industry now. A retrospective game review if you wish, and that is what I am going to be doing today, as I really did enjoy this game. What game am I talking about? Well, you've probably read the title, so you know that it's going to be Outlast. Not the second one, mind. Just the first one, and arguably one of the biggest impacts on recent horror games since Five Nights at Freddy's. And you can argue about that one as much as you like, but they were both pretty big games at the time of their release. I'll probably be reviewing that series as well too at some point, just a fair bit of warning in case you don't like it. So for those of you who are in the know, I really shouldn't have to do a brief recap, but for the sake of completion, let's just do it anyway. An investigative reporter by the name of Miles Upshur has received some rather alarming reports of medical negligence from a source within the Mount Pleasant Asylum. And instead of being intelligent and maybe tipping someone off, he goes himself to gather the evidence. In hindsight, this is probably the dumbest thing that he has ever done in his life, and he is going to regret it for the rest of his, admittedly short, lifespan. What is it about protagonists in video games that makes them absolute idiots? I mean, by all means, just tell someone where you're going and have safeguards in place. The same way that in the character in the DLC for Whistleblower Outlast does. That way, even if things go horribly wrong, at least you can say you've tried your best, you know? But no, he's so gung-ho about everything that he decides to just head off on his own with only his trusty camera. Whatever he expected to find when he got there, it's clearly much worse. Could have at least have taken a shotgun with you. Alright, so maybe that's a little bit overkill, but a pistol, maybe? So he arrives in the middle of a breakout, where something terrible is clearly going on, and after seeing a security guard impaled upon a stick, he has the only intelligent thought of the night and promptly tries to leave. But he is prevented from doing so, which is not so much fun, and we get introduced to the wonderful little pig. Here starts the main chunk of the game, where with nothing more than your trusty camera, you must escape and let the world know what awful things have been going on in this asylum, under the administration of the evil Murkoff Corporation. So it's a kind of very similar storyline to Resident Evil, just without the zombies, or... Well, there are some very unpleasant creatures and an evil corporation, so it's not too dissimilar, to be honest. I suppose while the storyline isn't 100% original, the style of gameplay was for its time, or it was at least unique enough that people took notice. Not only do you have to use stealth to avoid your enemies and escape, you have to keep the camera charged with batteries. Run out of juice, and that's also game over. This led to a lot of one battery challenge playthroughs and speedruns, which was certainly a phenomena in its own right. Now here is where some people are arguably going to end up coming for me, but I would like to premise this by saying I have played this game and I have really enjoyed it. But I did not find this scary, or as impactful as other games with very similar playstyles. The fear factor can very quickly be overcome. When you realise that you can mostly outrun your enemies once you've been seen by them, the fear just really drains away, made even worse by the fact that you never run out of stamina. You can go running as long as you want unless you get stuck on an object and then you get caught. However, there are so many long corridors and places that you can hide, which leads into another key point of the gameplay, which is the stealth option. Littered throughout the area are beds, lockers and cupboards that you can hide in, which will allow you to escape or completely avoid most of your enemies. There was a boasting that the NPCs were developed enough that you could run into a locker and they would check that locker. But I only found that the named enemies were the ones to do this, and even then it was only very, very rarely. The game just boils down to stealth, and then if you're found, running around until you run into a scripted event that makes them leave you alone, or you hide long enough that they essentially get bored. I'm not saying that this is bad, oh no, there was some very fun moments, but there are a couple of points where it just got downright frustrating. After all, if you get on that stuck on that same chair leg or run into the same wall, you get killed. It's only a minor thing, but I do think that other games did it a lot better. I'm looking at you, Alien Isolation. The major areas of fear in this game were the shock value of the images shown on screen, the brutality of the key kills, and general atmosphere. There was also the controversy of having a lot of full frontal male nudity, but this is so much worse in the DLC than the actual main game, but it's still pretty obvious and there is no real way to turn this off. Not going to lie, it made me uncomfortable, and for all of the wrong reasons. The atmosphere did alleviate this somewhat. It's gloomy, dreary, and you never quite feel safe. The fear for me came from never really knowing what was around the corner, but as soon as I knew what was there, it was no longer a huge issue and I just had to deal with it. None of this is a bad thing, it's just a thing. The game is great for what it was, and I think as an independent game, it was done really well. I do, however, think that it had a fairly negative impact on parts of the horror gaming community. For a little while after Outlast came out, every indie horror game wanted to link back to it in some way. There were so many stealth horror games that came after, and so many with cameras. Am I going to blame Outlast completely for this? No, not really. We asked for more of the same, and it would be dumb to complain that we got more. However, it did make a lot of companies very lazy. You could even argue that RedBubble themselves became that way just a little bit due to their success. One of the things Outlast did not do well was explain its story. We all hate explanation cutscenes and moments that can take us out of the game, but I do feel that there should have been a bit more to do with the Murkoff Corporation themselves. The what, the how, the where, the why, whatever. Some would argue that the DLC covers this a bit more than the main game, but that is not the point. No one should have to rely on DLC to explain the main point of the game. I'm not arguing that the DLC wasn't well made and very fun, and I'll do another review on that when I finish it, but it does make it a little hard to understand what's going on. It's a one and done type of game, and that's fine. Hide the lore in out of the way PCs and notes all you want, but when this starts to become a series and your second game follows the same notes and yet no one understands what's going on, you made a couple of mistakes and you need to fix it. By the way, this is coming from someone who loves to explore and find all the hidden lore, etc. It just felt even harder to do. Again, competitors did a similar thing, taking a leaf out of Outlast's book and hid their lore. Again, FNAF comes to mind. This meant a spate of awful stealth horror with no real story until you looked games. Great. Well, no one wants to look. Outlast has left a lasting legacy, one that I'm not even sure the developers can beat, though there is a third title in the series out soon, or out once I've actually got my arse in gear and filmed and edited this video down. I'm hoping that they took the things that went wrong with the series and improved it overall, and despite what you may think, I still really enjoyed this game. I think if you like horror, then you will like this game, but do I think that there are better games out there? Yes. For example, Alien Isolation, which I'm surprised to find out most people who've played it haven't finished it yet, due to the fear, or so I'm told. I can't really comment. I've completed it 3 times, unlike Outlast, which I've only played once and I have no real urge to go back to. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you really enjoyed that video. Yes, I am looking tired and exhausted. It is a Saturday and I'm doing some housework, and for some weird reason I always look like I've just been punched, no matter what I do. So, it's that time again. Let's draw our tarot card. So today we have the 8 of Pentacles, which kind of like represents mastery of skills, repetitive tasks, developing a skill in a certain area, just general small gains on what you want to do. So it's really good if you're a novel writer, for example. Go and write some more words. You're going to write the best words that you can today. If you're an artist, do some more drawings. I know we're into Inktober now, and I haven't done any of the artwork yet, which is really ridiculous because I got it all planned out and still failed. And kind of working for yourself and others. So if you have a small business, go and put some work in today. So basically, it's a generally good day for you to do some work on some of your hobbies, or your gaming and things like that, things are going to turn out well today. I think it's a pretty positive card, so it's going to be a good day. As always, if you have enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Throughout the month of October, we are doing 31 videos, and at the end of each video, there will be a tarot card pull. So please let me know if this related to yourself, if you're going to take anything away from it, or if you just enjoyed the video, with a comment down below. As always though, take care, have fun, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.